Hello my fellow makeup enthusiasts, welcome back to my perfectly healthy expression of makeup enthusiasm. My name is Lainey and today I am reviewing the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina Volume 2 palette, if I can get it open. Voila! So this palette retails for $60. You can get it on the ABH website or you can get it at Sephora. It is already in the stores. I snapped it up the second it launched. I was really excited to play with these colors. I didn't end up picking up the Norvina Volume 1 palette just because I already have a lot of those colors, and I was kind of thinking that I might get it eventually, but when this came out, I had to have it. I looked at the Volume 3 palette as well. That seems a little bit on the warm side for my taste, but this is absolutely beautiful. I did do 4 looks for this video. I was originally going to do 5, but I have so many more video ideas in the works, and so this was just getting really long, so I decided to only do 4, but you will see me just playing around with this palette, playing around with different primers. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the new Clown Blush palette from Likely Makeup, and this is a lot of fun. Let's see, what else? Oh, and I wanted to comment on the happy accident of my nail polish matching the palette. That was not intentional, but this worked out so beautifully. So enough about that. Let's go ahead and get into look number 1. So for my first look, I'm going to try to recreate the look that I had in my 15 favorites of fall video. And the reason that that didn't turn out well, I did film that, but it didn't turn out very well because I had the camera up high and angled down, and I really kind of got lost in the makeup application process, and I was getting closer and closer and closer to the mirror, as I would do if the camera were not there. When I'm really cognizant of the camera and I'm trying really hard to stay in frame and to not get too close to the mirror so that it shows up on film, then my makeup just doesn't turn out as good, because as you know, I have terrible eyesight. I complain about that all the time. I'm not really complaining, I'm just explaining, because really I know how to work with it. I just have to get really fucking close to the mirror. So at this angle, I can get super close to the mirror and still be in frame. So I'm just gonna do the makeup on one eye and we're gonna see how that goes. Still learning. Oh, and my entire lid is primed with Revolution Cut Crease Canvas. That's been working really well for me, so I'm just gonna keep on doing it until it doesn't work anymore. I'm starting with this beautiful vibrant orange shade, D2, and I'm kind of carving out the crease without actually cutting the crease. I'm taking that lovely forest green, E3, and I'm doing the wing as well as the liner. And then I'm taking D4, this yellow, and then I'm blending that into the orange and all the way to the outer V. Trying to soften that blend with A2, that's a chartreuse green. I'm taking B1 on a fluffy brush and fluffing it over the top, and then I'm also taking C1 and brightening up the inner corner. And then I'm trying really hard to get E3 to blend a little better. Okay, I don't want to get to the point where this is over blended, because I do like that separation with the orange and the yellow and the green, and obviously I don't want the orange and the green to touch each other too much. I think that's just enough. I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye. I'm going to put on some liner and lashes and I'll be back. And here we have the finished look. I did use Untz Creme Gel Liner by Colourpop in my waterline. I wanted to use Puppy, but I couldn't find it. I think I've probably used it up, so it's time to reorder. I used Melt's liquid lipstick in the shade Atomic as my upper lash line eyeliner. I really like that. And I've also realized that I am in desperate need of an eyebrow wax, and my foundation is a little bit drying for me today because apparently I've got really dry skin today. But while I have you here, let me take this opportunity to talk about Likely Makeup's new Clown Blush palette. Now, I used this yesterday and I was quite impressed. I'm going to go into the shade Carousel. See, that goes on super pigmented. And I'm going to grab Carnival, the yellow shade that made me want to buy this palette in the first place, and I'm going to kind of put it on top of that purple. And I'm going to swirl it all together. Now, I don't know what's going on down here. It almost looks like I'm getting a little bit of a rash because this is just not coming off, even when I use a makeup wipe. Okay, I'm gonna have to take care of that in a minute, but I feel like I'm wearing the wrong foundation today, so since I've got the eye look done, let's zoom in one more time. I'm gonna go ahead and take everything off, start all over, and do a second look. Also, I hate to admit this, so I primed this eye with Revolution Cut Crease Canvas, which has been working really well for me for priming the entire eye. This eye that I did off camera, I'm a dumbass, I forgot to prime it. And actually, I had a much easier time blending the shades in this palette. So I've had really good luck using this primer with other palettes, but I feel like maybe this doesn't even need a primer. So for the next look, I'm gonna use no primer at all. For the second look, I've taken everything off my face as much as I possibly could. I'm gonna try to focus on the blues and maybe I used greens in the last one, so I'm still kind of feeling the green, so I think I'm gonna focus more on the blues and greens this time and try to leave the oranges and yellows out, as tempting as it is for me to use those. So let's just see where this goes. I'm starting with B4, a blue shade with purple undertones. I'm putting that all over the lid. And then I'm going to take this beautiful Shields green shade, E1. I'm putting that over the top. It's blending really nicely. B4 needs a little bit of intensifying, so I'm using a sponge tip applicator. And then I'm going to take this Periwinkle shade, B2. I'm using that for the wing and for the liner. I'm trying to add some interest to the outer corner with this Poppin' Hot Pink shade, A1, but all that's doing is taking away B2. So I'm spraying my brush, I'm trying to redo that wing. That's helping a little bit, but I still need a little bit of extra help, so I'm pulling in some smudgy black eyeliner and trying to cover up that mistake that I made with A1. Again, I'm taking B3 and using that to top off the look. I love this shade. And I'm gonna try A1 in the inner corner and see if I can get that pink to pop. No, it's not working. So let's see if I can get the hot pink D3 shade to pop. That is looking a lot better. And then I'm taking C1 and brightening up the inner part of the eye. Okay, so I had no blending problems whatsoever, even without primer, and I apologize for the noise outside. We're having some landscaping done. Can't do anything about that. I like the way this looks, so I'm gonna do the other eye. I'm gonna put on some liner, put on some lashes, and I will be right back. And here's the finished look. I also used Colourpop's Crème Gel Liner in the shade Boots on my upper lash line. I used the pot liner, not the pencil liner. I vastly prefer this. I used Kat Von D's Everlasting Lip Liner in my waterline. I've been doing that for years, never had a problem. The shade is L.U.V. This is my absolute favorite eyeliner, actually. I never use it as lip liner, but this is one of my staples in my makeup collection, and I used Bad Gal Gang Bad Gal Gangbang. Bad Gal I just can't stop saying it. Bad Gal Bang, not Gangbang. Mascara to fuse my lashes with my Huda Beauty Camille Easy Lashes. And I also had much better luck using the Likely Makeup Clown Blush palette this time. I used a slightly fluffier brush, I used a gentler hand, and I just blended Carousel and Carnival together. And also, I'm not wearing any foundation right now. I don't know what my skin's doing today. It's just having a bitchy day. I was using the Too Faced Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation, and I've never had a problem with this foundation at all. It always looks beautiful. But today, my skin's just being a bitch. But fortunately, my eyes are taking a lot of abuse, and they're being very good sports about it. And 2 for 2. I like this look. So far, this palette is kicking ass and taking names. So I was just about to take off my makeup and take a cold bath and put on my pajamas, and then I realized 2 things. That first of all, I didn't do a wear test. I obviously didn't do one with the first look because I wiped that off immediately and did the second look. And also, I didn't show you what this looks like in normal lighting, like just normal room light, no ring lights, no soft boxes. So let's do that first. And here's what the makeup looks like in normal room lighting. This room isn't as bright as it usually is because the sun has already gone down. So, and keep in mind that my eyes are really deep set, and sometimes the studio lighting kind of hides that, but when you get into normal room light, it really shows up. But this is the makeup in everyday room light. And then let's talk about the wear test. Now, I didn't put any primer on with this look, and I noticed that there's a little bit of patchiness right here, and not so much on this eye, but on this eye there's a little bit of patchiness. The pink has kind of faded, the green isn't as vibrant as it was, but keep in mind that I've had this makeup on for about 8 hours at this point, and I've been changing the sheets and helping my mom move furniture today, so I haven't just been sitting on my ass. I haven't really broken a big sweat, but this is makeup after just a normal day of doing chores around the house. So for what it's worth, that's look number 2. Let's get into look number 3. Not so fast. Before I get into the official third look, I'm gonna play around a little bit with this shade that's been a little turd and a little pain in my ass and a little look ruiner so far, because I had high hopes for this, but so far it's just been a festering turd. So I'm gonna see if I can get this shade to do something. And I'm gonna use the Anastasia primer, which I went and picked up this morning because I was feeling like a bad YouTuber since I was reviewing an Anastasia palette without using the Anastasia primer. So this is just a mini. I kind of have my favorite eye primers already, but the Essence primer just wasn't really Essence. Why am I saying Essence? The Revolution Cut Crease Canvas, which usually works really well for me. I use that in my Melt video. I use that in my Sugar Pill Fun Size Mini palette video, and it worked great, but it's just not working with this palette. So let's use the Anastasia primer and see what happens. And I do have a little bit of eyeliner on already. That's not unusual for me to have eyeliner on before I do an eye look, so I'm just gonna leave it. That's probably way too much. Okay, the eye is primed, and I'm just gonna take my grubby little finger and see what this looks like when applied with the finger. Holy shit, dude! That's pretty! Okay, so Anastasia primer, finger application. I'm not sure what was going on, why this wasn't performing. Apparently you need primer, and apparently it doesn't play very well with B2. Other than that, I think it's pretty poppin'. So let's get into look number 3 now. I'm starting with D4 in the inner corner, and then I'm taking B5 and using that for the wing, and I'm also using that as liner. And then I'm taking B3 and I'm using that green to blend the yellow into the blue. And now I'm taking A1 on my finger, and I'm just trying to put a little pop of pink near the inner corner. And I'm also taking D4 again and just going over the rainbow and blending everything together. And I feel like that little pop of pink is very awkwardly placed and entirely unnecessary. I was just excited to finally be able to get this shade to work, so it doesn't ruin the look, but it's not necessary. D1 in the inner corner. I'm gonna go do some liner and lashes. I'm gonna do the other eye without that awkward pop of pink and see if that looks better, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the finished look. I went ahead and left that awkward pop of pink on the left eye, and it's actually turning a little bit orange. I don't mind it. I do think it's a little bit awkward. On this eye, I put the pop of pink under the eye, and I kind of like that better, but I don't know. I can't really decide which one I like better. I do have places to go and people to see tonight, so in order to make the eyes not so awkward, I think I am going to actually put a little bit of pink on the right eye just to even things out, and then maybe put some pink under the left eye just to make it even, just because I don't have a lot of time. In fact, I need to leave in about 15 minutes. Oh, and for what it's worth, here's what it looks like when I evened out the eyes. And let's not forget the look without the studio lighting. This is what it looks like without the fancy YouTube lighting. So I suppose that there are two main takeaway points from look 3. Number 1, A1 is actually a really good shade. I'm sorry that I ragged on it before. And number 2, the ABH primer is bomb. And really quickly, let's do a wear test. I've been wearing this makeup for about 6 hours now. I've been out and about. I don't see the patchiness this time. I think that last time the patchiness was due to not priming, and I downplayed that a lot, but now that I've been editing today and I'm noticing that that patchiness was pretty bad. So definitely get some kind of primer, and I highly recommend the Anastasia primer just based off of this one use. That pink shade, the A1 that I was really testing out hardcore today, is kind of faded, but not too much. I mean, you can still see it, but it has faded. It lost its oomph over the past few hours, but I feel like this wears pretty well. I feel like the blue is faded a little bit. I feel like the yellow is still pretty strong. I feel like the green is still showing. So I really can't complain about this. And for my fourth and final look, I didn't film it because I did what I call Laney eyes. If you watch me, you've seen me do this look before. It's yellow to orange to pink to purple. And I also pulled in A5 in the inner corner and E5 to deepen up the outer V. So I didn't end up using every single shade in this palette. I was really hoping that I could manage to use every shade, but I just didn't. I just wasn't feeling every single shade, but I feel like I showed enough shades to make this an interesting video to show you the range of this palette. I will do a brief review of this palette just in case this type of video is annoying to you, but you still want to hear just a little snippet about the palette. Oh, and I also used the Anastasia Shimmer Body Oil. I have it on right here. Let me put a little bit more on because I'm not sure that it's showing up. I can say that it smells really nice. I actually really like this, even though I didn't expect to, because I feel like some of these shimmery body oils only look good on tan people and they look a little ridiculous on pale people. But this has enough glitter in it that it appeals to the fairy in me. So I'm digging this product. I'm glad I picked it up when I picked up the primer. And I used the primer for this look. Still absolutely love and highly recommend this particular primer. And you know what? Let me take my hair down and wear it as I normally would wear it. So this is what the makeup looks like with my hair down as I would normally wear it. Let me also show you what it looks like in normal room lighting. And here it is, no soft boxes, no ring light, just normal room light. As always, I'm quite sure that I am forgetting some bit of critical information about this palette or forgetting to share some really important thought or opinion. You saw me struggle with a couple of the shades. You saw me work around that. I'm not that great with makeup. I'm not a professional. I'm not an expert. I just like to play with makeup. I like colorful makeup, and I was able to work with this without too much trouble at all. So if I had a fairly easy time working with this, imagine what you could do. So that wraps it up for today. As always, thank you so very much for joining me. I know that this video got long, so if you made it all the way to the end, thank you, bless your heart. Wow, that sounded really southern. Thank you. Thank you for sticking with me. Follow me on Instagram. I will follow you back. Throw me a pity like, give me some encouragement to make some more videos. Very special shout out to you if you are watching this video on the toilet. And until next time, stay adorably obsessed with colorful, beautiful makeup.